You're born in a rock shelter. A woman cuts your umbilical cord with a flint blade. She rubs you down with bear fat. You get wrapped in soft rabbit skin stitched with a bone needle. Your mother holds you against her chest, and you immediately recognize her heartbeat. The whole group comes to look at you. Someone touches your face with one finger. Someone makes a low, rhythmic sound that means something good just happened. You have been alive for 10 minutes and already have 25 people invested in your survival. 0 to 1 year. You spend your first year strapped to your mother's back in a sling made of deer hide. You go everywhere she goes. When she scrapes hides, you watch from her back. When she digs roots, you bounce along. When she walks 5 miles to a berry patch, you ride the whole way. You eat every 2 hours, day and night. Your mother eats enormous amounts of bone marrow and animal fat to keep up with you. At night, you sleep between your parents on a thick pile of grass and animal skins. Above your head, the ceiling is covered in paintings of horses and bison made with red ochre. You can't see them clearly yet, but they're there every night while you sleep. When you cry, the whole group hears it. Several people come immediately. You are never alone for a single minute of your first year, not once. 1 to 3 years, you start walking and immediately try to touch the flint pile. Someone moves you away from the flint pile. You try again. Someone moves you away again. This happens many times. You discover fire by getting too close to it once. That lesson takes exactly one experience to learn permanently. You follow the older children everywhere. One of them is 7 and can already make a fire. You watch him do it with your mouth open. He shows off. You are his best audience. You eat what everyone eats. Pre-chewed deer meat from your mother's mouth. Soft marrow sucked straight from cracked bones. Mashed berries mixed with animal fat. Roasted roots pulled from the coals and peeled with fingers. Your favorite thing is honey. Finding a beehive is a big event in this group. Everyone gets honey. It happens maybe 3 times a year. You think about it the rest of the time. You learn your first words. Not mama and dada. The word for deer. The word for fire. The word for danger. The word for water. The words that keep you alive come first. Everything else comes later. 3 to 5 years, someone gives you a piece of flint with the sharp edges knocked off. You carry it everywhere for weeks. You sleep with it. You lose it once and cry until someone finds it. You watch the adults make tools for hours without moving. One man sits and naps flint every evening. Chips flying, edge forming. You sit next to him and watch his hands. He doesn't explain anything. You just watch. You find a piece of deer antler on the ground and drag it around camp for days. You have no specific plan for it. You just want it. The older children teach you a game with painted pebbles. You arrange them in patterns on a flat rock. You play this game every day for a month. You get good at it. You make a doll from a bundle of dry grass tied with a strip of sinew. It has no face. You don't seem to need it to have a face. You carry it everywhere for 1 week, then lose interest completely. You start throwing rocks at targets. A specific tree. A skull from last winter's bison hunt. A pile of stones. You throw rocks at things for approximately 2 years. Your arm gets very strong. Your aim gets very good. This turns out to be useful later. 5 to 7 years, you go on your first gathering trip outside camp. The women move through the forest following a route they know completely from memory. You learn that the small white flower means edible roots below the ground. You learn that the red berries on that specific bush are fine. You learn that the red berries on the other specific bush are not fine at all. You learn this because someone stops your hand before it reaches your mouth. You watch them dig roots with a pointed digging stick. You get your own digging stick. You dig your first root. It takes you 4 minutes to dig something that takes an adult 30 seconds. You are very proud of it anyway. You start hunting birds with the other children. You pick a bird. You approach slowly. The bird watches you approach. The bird leaves. You pick another bird. Same result. You spend 2 years doing this. You catch 0 birds. You learn everything about how birds move and react, and when they fly and when they don't. This information will matter later. The birds have no idea they're teaching you anything. You learn to identify deer tracks in soft ground. A man crouches next to a print and points at specific details. The direction the soil pushed, the depth at the front versus the back, the distance between prints. You crouch next to him and look at exactly what he's looking at. You see dirt. He sees a deer, a direction, a speed, and a time. You keep looking until you start to see it too. 7 to 10 years you make your first scraper. A piece of flint struck at the right angle to produce a working edge. You use it to clean a deer hide stretched over a log. You scrape hair and fat from the skin in long strokes. It takes you most of a day to do what an adult does in an hour. You do it anyway. You help stretch the cleaned hide on a wooden frame to dry. You help rub the dried hide with a paste of deer brain and water to make it soft. Every animal's brain is almost exactly the right size to tan its own hide. This is one of those facts that seems too convenient to be true. It is true. You learn to make a bone needle, a thin splinter of deer bone ground against sandstone until it's smooth and sharp. A hole pierced through the wide end with a flint point. You thread sinew through the hole. You sew 2 pieces of hide together with a running stitch. Your first seam is uneven and slightly ridiculous. Your second one is better. You make fire for the first time. Spindle of dry mullein in a board of dry willow. You spin fast and press hard for 2 minutes straight. Smoke appears. A coal forms. You tip it into a bundle of dry grass and blow steadily. Flame. You look at it for a moment. Then you go show everyone immediately. You go on a real hunt for the first time. Before dawn, the group moves silently through the forest downwind of a deer herd. You carry a spear taller than you are. Ash wood shaft, with a flint point hafted with pine pitch and sinew. You hold completely still in the trees for 20 minutes. All those years of failing to catch birds trained you for exactly this. The hunters move, you move with them. A deer goes down. The group processes it immediately on the spot. You know how to do every part of this. You have been watching it your entire life. You carry meat back to camp on your back. That night, the group eats together around the fire. Someone plays a rhythm on a hollow bone. Voices join in. You sit in the firelight eating meat you helped bring back. You are 9 years old. You can track deer. You can make fire. You can make tools. You can tan hide. You can sew. You can read the forest well enough to move through it alone. You know every edible plant within 2 days' walk of this camp. You know every person in your group and exactly what they're good at. You are 9 years old and you are not a child anymore. Not really, not here. 10 to 13 years. You go on hunts regularly now. Not as someone's child who tags along. As a hunter, you have your own spear that you made yourself. Ash shaft, flint point, your own hafting, your own sinew wrapping. You know the difference between a red deer track and a roe deer track by the shape alone. You know how old a track is by touching the edge of the print with your finger. Fresh edges are sharp. Old edges crumble slightly. You know which direction the herd moves at dawn versus dusk. You know where they drink and when. You know that deer always check downwind before entering a clearing. You position yourself accordingly without being told. The men stop explaining things to you. Not because they stopped caring. Because you already know. One day in the life of a primitive teenager. Subscribe and watch in the following videos. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.